G'day everybody, it is the 11th of April and I'm sitting here at the beach, Topsail Beach, Conception Bay, South Newfoundland, and I'm going to go through a list of things. In all the traveling I've done, I figured I'd go through a list of things according to Rick, that you should or should not do at the airport. And you may or may not agree with things on this list, but I don't care. These are just things according to Rick, and you don't have to agree with them. Number one, arrive early at the airport. And by that I mean arrive early enough so that you're not looking like you're running in the Boston Marathon coming through the airport and rushing everybody through security and finally landing at the plane sweating like you just did the Boston Marathon. Number two, dress like a human being. Nobody wants to see you in your pajamas or that you look like you just crawled out of the woods after having spent 2 years on an island cast away with Tom Hanks and Wilson. Number three, respect your bloody zone when you're boarding. If you're in zone 4, stay in your zone. When they call zone 1, don't rush up like it's the last supper you're ever going to have. Respect your zone. If you're in zone 4, when they call zone 1, if 500 people go up and they're all standing in line and I'm in zone 1 and you're in zone 4 and I got to ask 50 people what frickin' zone you're in, it's a pain in the ass. Sit your weak ass down with your piddly zone 4 and wait until everybody else in the preceding zones board, please. Don't be an idiot. Number 4, respect the carry-on rules. For the love of whatever deity you believe in, if you're only allowed 2 carry-ons, bring 2 carry-ons. That doesn't mean 2 carry-ons, a purse, a laptop, and a bouquet de flowers. It means 2 friggin' carry-ons. And with that 2 carry-ons, there's a little thingamajiggy measuring gadget at every friggin' boarding gate where you can stuff your carry-on in and see if it bloody well fits. If you've been traveling, if it's not your first time traveling, then you know the goddamn thing doesn't fit. So, don't play stupid and get on the plane and try to squeeze a suitcase into a carry-on space. If you bring a carry-on that doesn't fit, well, don't act innocent or that you didn't know it didn't fit. Don't be indignant and don't get mad at the flight attendant. It's not their fault. You're a moron. Don't use your speakerphone when you're in the airport or on the airplane. I don't know about anybody else, but I don't give a shit about your conversation. Whatever language it's in, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear the other person. I don't even want to hear you. So use the earpiece that comes with the phone, or put some Bluetooth shit in your ears, but don't put it on speakerphone in a public place. Number 6, don't lay around the airport like a vagrant. It's not a hostel, it's not a hotel, it's not a tent, it's not a place for laying out your shit all over the floor and taking a nap. Case in point is this trip I had from Ottawa to here. Had a little stop in Montreal, and in the Air Canada lounge, someone who shall remain nameless had blankets, sleeping bag, pillows, and every other goddamn thing laid out on the floor of the carpet in the Air Canada lounge. Now, what kind of a twit do you have to be to not know that that's not the thing to do? Besides that, you have one hell of a lot of confidence in the cleaning staff at the airport. God knows what manner of germs and garbage were on that floor. So don't be a twit. Don't take a nap. Don't go to bed. Sit in the seat, fold your arms, and be miserable like everybody else that's waiting at an airport. Number 7, respect others while you're boarding. This goes hand in hand with the boarding in your zones. Once you get on the plane, you've got about 10 to 15 seconds to get your shit either in the overhead bin or under your seat and sit the hell down. If you've got more than one carry-on bag and it doesn't fit or you don't have room for it, don't hold up the rest of the plane. 15 seconds max, and then get your ass in your seat. Number 8, don't take a goddamn bath in your cologne or your perfume. There are a lot of people out there that have allergies, asthma, ailments, that they can't smell noxious chemicals. If you've put a bottle of cologne or perfume on, then that's very disrespectful to others, and you are a douche. Period. Point final. Number 10, don't take off your footwear. Goes hand in hand with not putting on too much perfume or cologne or taking a bath in the damn stuff. Nobody wants to smell your stinky ass feet. So this one is not even an unwritten rule, it's a damn rule. You do not take off your footwear in a plane, especially if you've been traveling most of the day and your feet smell like rotten fish. Leave your damn footwear on. Number 9, your seat does indeed recline. Don't friggin' do it. If everybody reclined their seats, it would be a wonderful thing. But the reality is there's not a lot of room on the airplane. So I know you can recline your seat. You want to take a little nappy poo. But it's an unwritten rule. Don't recline your seat. Just don't do it. Number 11. Baggage claim. Do not crowd the baggage carousel. Your bag will come out, or if you're flying with Air Canada, maybe not. Don't stand like a starving savage waiting for your bag to come out. It will come out. And if it doesn't come out, don't throw a bloody tantrum. If you're under 10, then you might be excused for throwing a tantrum. But if you're a bloody adult, don't throw a tantrum. Shit happens. Bags get lost. I believe this is number 12. This goes without saying, but be respectful to the staff. It's not the flight attendant's fault. It's not the booking counter's fault if the flight's delayed. It happens. They don't get paid enough to listen to your ranting on about your flights or where you have to be or what you have to do. They didn't break the plane. They didn't change the weather. So don't flip out at the staff. That's not cool at all, and it just makes you look like an immature douche. Number 13. If you're going to ask somebody for a swap of seats, make sure it makes sense, and don't assume that it's an entitlement. So, if you're in the middle and you have two people sitting on either side of you, well, A, tough shit. Most likely nobody's going to change with you. And if they do, great. If they don't act like a wounded pig. If somebody's sitting in an aisle, they've likely chosen the aisle. If somebody's sitting at a window seat, they likely chose that. So if you didn't plan ahead and you got stuck with a middle seat and you ask a perfect stranger to swap and they say no, don't cry like a big baby. Don't get upset and don't act like they're a rotten person. Just sit there, fold your arms, put your head down, and act miserable like everybody else, like I said before. If you're in the middle seat and there's people on either side of you, don't assume you'll own both armrests, because you don't. Number 14. Now this one may be controversial, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you are far, far above your weight for your height, and you're spilling over into the next seat or seats, buy 2 seats. Especially if you've bathed in cologne or did the Boston Marathon through the airport. Nobody wants to have other people's body parts pressed against them for hours at a time. If you're too big for the seat, buy 2 seats. Don't expect the airport to put in a whole separate bunch of seats that are double size just because you can't push your way away from the dinner table. Another one that I shouldn't really have to be saying, it goes without saying, but I'm going to say it. During takeoff and landing, stay in your damn seat. Don't have the flight attendant make multiple announcements because you're too dumb to sit down in your seat during takeoff and landing. I can't even count the amount of times that twits or twitettes have gotten up and retrieved something or put something away while the flight is taking off or landing. Don't do it. I believe we're up to number 15 now. If you are depressed, and there are plenty of people that are, or if you have anxiety disorder or bipolar disorder or any other such afflictions, try to sort that shit out before you get on the plane, and so it doesn't affect anybody else around you. And I'm saying this with complete empathy because I have lots of friends and people that are close to me that have such afflictions. If whatever you have is not manageable, then maybe it's probably not a good idea to get on a plane, lock yourself in at 30,000 feet with a bunch of strangers. Just saying. Not sure what number we're at, doesn't matter. If you sit down next to somebody and you get the impression that they don't want to talk, shut your pie hole. There's an unwritten rule that, whoever's sitting next to you, you don't talk until you're spoken to. Well, yeah, I don't even go that far because as soon as, many a times you try to do something courteous and say hello, how's it going? And then for the next 3 hours, you don't get a breath in, and you know more about the person you're sitting next to in the plane than you do your own family members. So, have a common sense approach to it. If you're on a plane, if you have to exchange pleasantries, great. But if you get the sense that somebody doesn't want to talk, don't talk to them. This will wrap up my things to do and not to do. Most of them were not to do on an airplane. If you have to eat, for the love of God, keep it in your mouth and don't chew with your mouth open. Don't smack your food. Don't spit your food. Nobody wants to see your food. If you happen to be chewing gum, which many people do on an airplane, don't smack it or chew it like a cow chewing on its cud. Keep that shit in your mouth. Keep your mouth closed while you're chewing. Well, that's going to wrap up this first of maybe many. We'll see how it goes. Videos, this one particularly being about what to do and not to do on an airplane in the backdrop of Topsail Beach, Conception Bay, South Newfoundland. Have a great day.